I've got some sad news to share that just happened last night, and I thought I might as well put it on top of this video because I filmed this 2 nights ago. So last night, or yesterday afternoon, as I was looking at Caitlin's reef, I noticed that the Japanese pygmy angelfish, or the Centropage interrupta, was not swimming around the tank like she always does. She is always on the move and impossible to take a picture of. And suddenly, she was kind of hanging out in the gorgonian in the back near the rock and just staying down in there like it was hiding from something. And I thought, well, that's strange. What is she doing? And she kind of stayed down there all evening. And I just thought, well, it's just an oddity. I don't know what else could be happening. Later that night, when I normally feed all the tanks, I turned off the filtration pump on that tank to go ahead and put food in. And I squirted in 2 squirts of her favorite food, and she didn't even come for the food. Matter of fact, she kind of swam around and seemed to avoid it, but then she suddenly was bobbing up and down into the surface of the water, like pushing her mouth out, like she was trying to get air from above the surface. She wasn't trying to jump out of the tank, but she definitely was bobbing up and down. And then about a minute later, she was down on the bottom, laying on her side on the sand. All of a sudden, it's just the strangest thing. As many of you know, she's a very important fish for me. I've wanted her for 17 years. I finally got one. She was captive bred, tank raised in Hawaii. I've had her 2.5 years, and there's been no issue whatsoever. So I don't know what caused it. I immediately got on Facebook and asked my friends if anyone had any quick emergency suggestions, and the only thing I could think of doing was putting her in methylene blue, which is part B of Safety Stop, because that increases oxygen levels 200%. And I thought maybe she's lacking air, like there's something bad about the water in Caitlin's reef. So I reached into the tank, removed her out immediately by hand. She didn't even fight me. And I put her in a bucket with some water from my 400-gallon reef instead, thinking different water, maybe she'll have a better chance in case there's something toxic in the 27-gallon. I would say that she tolerated it just fine, but she didn't improve whatsoever. And within an hour, she was gone. It's super sad to lose this fish, and it's even more frustrating when I don't know what caused it. Now, 2 thoughts come to mind. One, possibly she consumed or ingested or, I don't know, made contact with the dinoflagellate situation in that tank that's been ongoing since last February. It's just been a thing that won't quite go away. The other idea is that maybe she got popped by the pistol shrimp because they've lived all together in this tank. Her, the pistol shrimp, and the Randall goby. So I have no idea why I lost this fish. She was beautiful up to the moment of her death, and she measured about 2.5 inches. So I still feel like she was a juvenile. She could have lived 5, 6, 7 years because I kept the aquarium at 76 degrees, which was better suited for her genotype. And she could have grown to be 5 inches or greater. And that didn't happen. I don't understand why she died. I did save the body of the fish, put it in the freezer in case I sent it off for some kind of a necropsy to see if they could tell me what happened. But at this point, it's just a complete mystery. The Randall goby is the only other fish in that system, and it's been acting normal other than it came to the front of the tank briefly yesterday. But it does that on occasion, so I don't really see anything that could explain some kind of fish plague. I hadn't added anything to the tank in months because it's just been on standby, and I haven't been taking very many pictures of it because of the dinoflagellates irritating me. It's just not pretty. And I kept wanting that tank to look great to really showcase this fish at a later date. For now, I don't know what I will put in that tank to replace it, but I might possibly get a lemon peel because that was Caitlin's favorite fish. I have 3 clownfish in my frag system that need a place to be, and I thought about moving them out so I can break down the frag tank finally that needs to go. So some kind of change is coming very, very soon. On a happier note, the 400-gallon continues to operate like it should. There's just the regular maintenance I have to do. Mainly I'm cleaning the glass and removing anemones that are getting everywhere and cleaning things that need cleaning. But it hasn't really required much attention other than I really need to give it a reset. It's full. The tank is coming up on 11 years old, and the livestock has pretty much outgrown the tank yet again. And by removing a lot of the undergrowth I can increase the flow throughout the tank, and I can add some new colors and make it prettier, and get back to dosing trace elements and going crazy, making the hobby an obsession once again. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe. That lets YouTube know that this video matters. Let me tell you a little bit about the 400 gallon. If you're newer to this channel, this aquarium is 7 feet long and it's 3 feet wide. And during this video, you've been seeing the front view, which is what I see from my living room. Behind it, there's a fish room where all the equipment is, where it allows me to work on the tank. And if I make a spill, it goes right into a floor drain. And I have a nice view from the kitchen side as well on the panel that's 3 feet wide. And you're about to see that here in a moment. The maintenance this aquarium requires for me is to keep up with water parameters, make sure that the water quality stays on track. I refill the water reservoir once a week to replace what's evaporating. And I feed the tank every single night. And I clean the glass every few days. From time to time, I do a water change, and I would say at best that is sporadic. I tend to do them in groups, and then I don't do them for a super long time, because then the tank just seems to do quite well without them. I do not dose two-part. I have a calcium reactor that maintains alkalinity and calcium levels in the tank, but I do mix up a batch of magnesium about once a month, and then a dosing pump puts in, I don't remember if it's 60 or 80 milliliters a day until the jug is empty. I put in Prodibio twice a month using Bioptim, Biodigest, IOD Plus, and Stronti Plus. And there's other things I should be adding to the water that I just haven't done in the longest time, and I need to get back to that routine. This channel is sponsored by Fritz Aquatics. Thanks for your support. In case you didn't know it, I run a business called Milov's Reef, and that is where I sell aquarium supplies and build acrylic products for my customers. So if there's something you need for your aquarium, check my website at shop.milovsreef.com and see if there's anything there that could make your reef keeping experience easier to maintain. Supporting small businesses is key in this really rough economy, and so every single customer that comes in helps put food on the table and allow me to continue to stay operational. Each Saturday, provided I'm not out of town, I do a live stream at 2:08 p.m. Central Time. And I have a topic, I discuss it for 30 to 45 minutes, and then I wrap up with a question and answer period with all the people in attendance during the live stream. So if you haven't been able to attend one recently and you want to come hang out and have a one-on-one conversation with me, so to speak, please do join me because it's a lot of fun. And also, as executive editor of Coral Magazine, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe to the magazine and read it, because a lot of work goes into every issue and every word gets proofread, and I just want you to read it with me every time it comes out.